All right, diving in today, getting into chapter 13 of Age Well, Live Fully.
Yeah.
This one's all about creating a supportive environment, kind of setting the stage for well-being as we age.
Right.
I think a good place to start. I mean, I was really struck by this.
Mm-hmm.
The book talks a lot about decluttering, and it frames it in a way that I hadn't really thought about before.
Okay. Yeah.
It's not just about, tidying up your house, although that's certainly part of it, but they connect it so strongly to mental clarity.
Yeah, there's a real sense in this chapter that a cluttered physical space can actually contribute to mental clutter and overwhelm, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
And that resonated with me.
Like it's almost visual noise that we're constantly having to process.
It is, and it's draining. And I think the book does a great job of highlighting that when we simplify our surroundings, we're not just making things look nicer. We're actually freeing up mental energy, cognitive resources for other things, maybe even, new experiences or just a greater sense of calm and peace.
I like that. It's like creating space, not just in your home, but in your mind as well.
Exactly.
And kind of on that theme of creating a supportive space, the book then really goes into this idea of home as sanctuary. And I think that's something that we can all relate to, especially as we get older.
Right. The idea that our homes should be these places of rest and rejuvenation, and it's not just, a place to sleep or eat. It's a place to really recharge.
And the chapter, it breaks down some pretty fundamental elements of a healthy home environment. And it's interesting because some of them are things we might take for granted.
Like what?
Well, good ventilation,
Right.
the importance of natural light, making sure the temperature is comfortable.
All basic, but so crucial.
Yeah, and the book emphasizes that these aren't just about comfort, although that's certainly important, but they actually directly impact our physical and mental well-being.
Oh, absolutely. And, it's not just about what we subtract from our homes. It's also about what we add. And I thought the book's emphasis on bringing in natural elements was really interesting.
Oh, tell me about that.
Well, things like houseplants, even artwork that has natural themes, anything that can kind of, I don't know, soften the edges a bit and bring the outdoors in.
I know. I find that I feel so much more relaxed when I'm surrounded by plants.
Me too. And the chapter really emphasizes that these natural elements can actually reduce stress and promote a sense of well-being. So it's not just aesthetics. There's a real physiological impact.
Fascinating.
Isn't it?
And then from there, the book shifts gears a bit and talks about our social connections, which, we all know how crucial those are.
Absolutely vital. And it's something that we tend to need even more as we age, wouldn't you say?
For sure. And the chapter highlights how important it is to have a supportive network of friends and family, people who can offer emotional support, companionship.
That sense of belonging.
Yeah, that sense of belonging, exactly.
And it's not just about taking, it's about giving back as well. And that was something the book stressed that I really appreciated.
Right, it's about those reciprocal relationships.
Exactly, where you're both giving and receiving support. And that's, I think, where you find the deepest sense of connection.
And it's not just about feeling good, it's actually linked to longevity.
There's a growing body of research that shows how important those strong social connections are for both our mental and physical health.
It's incredible.
Really is.
So we've got our physical space, we've got our social connections.
Right.
And then the book dives into this whole concept of nature therapy, which I admit I was a little skeptical about at first.
Oh, I hear you. It sounds a bit woo-woo, but there's actually some really compelling evidence behind it.
Well, and that's what surprised me. The book lays out all this research about how spending time in nature can lower stress hormones,
Improve mood.
boost creativity.
Even help with things like focus and attention.
And it doesn't have to be anything super intense. It can be as simple as, a walk in the park or even just sitting in your garden.
Absolutely. The key is that intentional engagement with the natural world, being present in those moments.
And then here's where I think the book gets really interesting. It talks about the role of technology in aging well.
Right, because we often hear about the downsides.
All the time.
Too much screen time, social isolation, all that.
But the book kind of flips the script and talks about how technology can actually be a really powerful tool.
A force for good.
As long as we're using it intentionally and mindfully.
Exactly. It's about balance.
So, for example, the chapter talks about how online communities can be a great way to connect with people who share your interests.
Right, especially for folks who maybe don't get out as much or who have limited mobility.
And then there's all the amazing health monitoring technology.
Oh, yeah, the wearables.
That can help people stay on top of their health and even, potentially prevent problems down the line.
And we can't forget about telemedicine, which has been a game changer for so many people, especially in rural areas or for those who have difficulty traveling.
It really is amazing how technology can be used to enhance our well-being and support us as we age.
It's all about harnessing the power of these tools in a way that benefits us rather than, becoming slaves to them.
And I love how the book introduces this idea of a digital detox.
Yeah, it's such a simple but powerful concept.
Taking a break from our devices, even for a short period of time, can really help us reset and reconnect with ourselves and the world around us.
I've started incorporating mini digital detoxes into my week, like just putting my phone away for a few hours in the evening.
Oh, how do you find that?
It's amazing. I sleep better, I'm more present with my family, and I just generally feel less stressed.
That's fantastic.
It really is.
So, as we wrap up our deep dive into this chapter, I think what's really striking is how interconnected all of these elements are.
Right.
Our physical environment, our mental state, our social connections, our relationship with nature and technology.
It's like this web of well-being.
Exactly. And what I love about the book's approach is that it gives us so many practical takeaways, things that we can actually implement in our own lives to create that supportive environment for ourselves as we age.
And the thing is, even small changes can make a big difference, don't you think?
Absolutely. And I think that's a great point to leave our listeners with.
What is that?
To think about one small thing that you could do today, whether it's decluttering a corner of your home or reaching out to a friend you haven't spoken to in a while, or maybe even just taking a walk in nature without your phone.
Right. Just one small step towards creating that supportive environment for yourself.
And see what happens, because you never know. That one small change could have a ripple effect and lead to some really positive shifts in your life.
Couldn't agree more.
So until next time, happy deep diving.
Take care.
Bye.